my face in the bottom of the ventilation.
We'd like to point out that George then grew his hair shoulder length for the rest of his life.
It may have inspired him to do that. So then he took you out to this region about where he was going to introduce Christian back into the wild again, and that's when you met these other lions.
The first instance, though, when George, I think, was confident that Christian was going to be okay and would be able to be rehabilitated, we had a stopover on the way to Cora, and Christian, we just let him out, and a stray domestic cow wandered in towards camp. It's called a gombe. It's a domestic cow, but it has very large pointed horns. And Christian took one look at this and immediately stalked it perfectly, downwind and round, fanned out around it. And we thought, this is terrific, and won't George be pleased? But George said, look, I'm a bit concerned here because, fantastic he's doing it, but, this animal may well damage him because, it doesn't, his first hunt.
Himself on the
Yeah, exactly. So George drove
his Land Rover between the Gombe and Christian and asked us to pick Christian up and put him in the back of the van. And that was the second and only other time he was really not pleased at all.
Well, he snarled at you?
He did. He didn't lash out, but he was very upset.
He was
and who could blame him?
Yeah.
How fascinating to see him circle so he doesn't
down, yes.
Yep.
No necessary scent wouldn't be carried. He instinctively knew. So that was amazing, and he instinctively knew how to take thorns out of his paws, all of that. But he did need to be acclimatized.
What, and his paws were soft?
Pausing last year. Coach was too sick. He did spend the first few days on our camp beds, which rather worried us all. He wasn't sort of getting up and getting at it.
To be honest, though, was your heart starting to break? Because, these are your best days with Christian, aren't they? Were you feeling
Look, it was going to be sad to leave him there, but look, we'd got him to the right place. We'd 9 months in England without an accident, without him hurting himself, him hurting anyone else. And
were you a little burnt out?
It was a huge, it was a relief ultimately because it was just such a total commitment. Yeah.
And you were probably not getting that much sleep, really, I suppose. All that.
That was all right, but it was just a full-time commitment. So we were sad because we did go back 2 more years, so we thought it would be a continuing story anyway. We'd be in touch that we could come back. So. Yes,
it's like your kids grow up. Yeah, but kids grow up, they go into the world, and you've got to say goodbye, but that's not the end of it.
People are relating to the video a bit too. That's possibly an element in it.
But we had to pass him over to George, and the trust and love that he had that was between us had to be transferred to George. We couldn't teach him anything about going wild. We had given him everything that we were able to do to keep him well, healthy, safe, and maintain this wonderful temperament. Now the next phase was to take off.
Now, George already had the lion Boy. Boy, funnily enough, was actually pretty much an adult by that point.
Absolutely.
A younger female. What did Christian do when he saw his first lion? Because it was the first time he'd seen another lion.
They're in separate compounds, but he was quite horrified. And then pretending would look and then look away. And one went back to the camp bed, I think. They were a good sleep, pretend to sleep.
No, but Boy was determined to say, look, the natural process of a lion of Christian's age, when he confronted Boy, Boy would not be dealing with him at all. He'd be well down the pecking order. So Boy would have to make it quite clear to Christian where he was.
He'd be alpha male.
And Christian was right at the bottom, even below the little female cub, because he was the new guy the new guy in the pride. And Christian was obviously terrified when he first saw him, but he did respond the right way, and that was to submit to him, and eventually, after a couple of days of Boy charging against the wire every time Christian came near him, George said, no, we have to move on now, we have to let them meet outside. And
you feel like anxious parents?
Well, yes, absolutely. We were terrified of Boy ourselves. Yes. And had to live with him later, too. So that's another story.
Yes, that outside confrontation, and Boy came down and he just belted Christian. But Christian rolled over on his back, exposing, obviously, his stomach, and there was a lot of snarling, and the paws are all flying, flailing, but he wasn't trying to injure him or kill him. He was just teaching him a lesson.